Hello, everyone. Let me know if you can hear me. If you would, please. I keep getting an error message of going live in our Ignite group. So I'm not quite sure if I'm live there. Okay. Looks like we're live there. Let's just go check it out. Welcome, 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 everyone. Says I'm not live in the Facebook group. So if you can hear me or see me, please let me know. I'm actually joining you from StreamYard. If this is not going to work, then I will just... Let's see if this will work. Okay, now it says we're live. There we are. Okay, thank you, everyone, for your patience. I don't know, there are some technical difficulties happening. Saying I'm live one place but not another. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for hanging out until we actually went live. Yeah, you can actually see the look on my face as I'm a little confused of why that was happening. Hello, hello, hello. This is Tammy Lee with the Emerald Compass. Coming live to you every Wednesday at noon, or we try to at noon, with Make Shift Happen, the spiritual variety show. For those of you that are new to me, I am an accelerated intuitive and way shower, helping to guide you and others to, and myself, right? This is always working on yourself too, to our sovereign, sacred self, opening all of ourselves up to that inner vast landscape that awaits us to visit it, to come to know it, to plant those seeds within it, to grow and nurture and nourish with it and from it, that inner landscape that connects us with Mama Earth. Yeah, with Mama Earth. It's one of the reasons I love. I appreciate so much living here on the land, on our farm. But I tell you what, it wasn't always that way. I turned 59 this month. My husband and I have been married 40 years. And it was very interesting in our early years when we've lived here now. So we've celebrated 41 years of being together, being married. And it was not always an easy path. And for those of you that have that easy path with your main relationship, wow. That is a true blessing and a true gift. So it wasn't always easy on that path of, I was 17. I was pregnant. I was a senior in high school. And I got married as a senior in high school. And Tim and I had our first baby, Mother's Day. Yeah, Mother's Day of 1980. And I'm sharing this with you today to help you to open up and realize that some of the things that we, especially we women, but I think all of us, both men and women, we need to realize of where we where we had come from, and are we still there, and are we still judging ourselves from that point of view, or are we actually in the present? I still catch myself judging, actually judging my husband from the past. Even though we've worked on this, I've worked on this, even though I left him 7 years ago, never thought there was hope for us to really, really get on the same wavelength, on the same path of really truly being happy and more than just content. And I left because there was a part of me that was dying, and I knew no other way. And I did not know that would have been, even though it was the scariest decision of my life, to leave my marriage, to leave my husband, it was also the most profound act that I could have ever done for me. For me. This is about taking care of ourselves. One of the things I never realized was when I got married and pregnant and had a baby at the age of 17, I went from my father's home to my husband's home. Yes, we created a home together, but there was no intermedium of where Tammy was ever on her own, to where Tammy could take care of herself and herself only. I went from a student to a mom while still being a student. And back then, 41 years ago, that was very unusual to stay in school while having a baby. And the things we can judge ourselves about, right? That we take on, that we don't give ourselves a hand up, that we don't give ourselves compassion and forgiveness, that we can look upon others and still judge them, still be in that old way of thinking. So when I left him, it literally opened me up to a new reality and a new way of taking care of me. When I moved into my apartment, and this is something I've learned and I brought back with me, because yes, we did make it happen. We did reconciliate, and but we needed help. We really needed help to do that. And now that I'm back and I've been living on the farm, a whole new way of being has come about. But it took me leaving. It took me jumping off the cliff, literally not knowing where I was going to land. Have you ever felt that, ladies and gentlemen? Have you ever felt that you were to step forward into something that you were just terrified of, that there was so much fear around it, yet to walk with that fear, to embrace that fear, and to just take that leap is such an incredible, courageous act? So what right now in your life is asking you to take that leap? What right now in your life is asking you to take this leap of faith? And I'm not talking about religion. I'm just saying faith, that you have this internal faith, this knowing. Is that a better word? This knowing within you. Like I knew that I knew that I knew I had to walk out. I believe it was also It's a self-preservation. It was self-preservation. Had I not done that act of walking out, I don't know, honestly, if I would still be here today. That's heavy, right? That's heavy. Sometimes we are asked, we are called upon to make monumental steps in our life in order for our souls, in order for our spirit to thrive, to become all they came here, all we came here to be, do, have, create, experience. That act, these acts that we are asked, that we know there's a knowing within us, and we're asked to take that step, is actually catapulting us into our gifts. You might not see it at first. You might not realize it at first. And sometimes we just need those monumental experiential moments in our life to help us to shed the shells, to break the chains that are keeping us stuck, breaking the chains that keep us stuck. Let's go there. What are some of those that are keeping us stuck? Some chains that we have on us. One of the things I learned, because when I returned, when Tim and I started working things out, and I'm sharing this with you because I know of women that are having a struggle right now in their relationships. Some of my clients, some women I know, some different people are having struggles in their relationships. And one of the things when I was writing my book, yes, I wrote an international bestseller called The Second Start, Finding Joy in the New You. But one of the things I realized when I was writing this book is the different ways that I kept myself stuck. The different ways I kept myself stuck. But yet, who was I blaming it on? I was blaming it on my husband. I was blaming it on other circumstances. Energy work, even doing the work I do, the healing work I do, and the energy tracking, I was still saw these different threads of where I was blaming myself. Where I was blaming others for my circumstances. And then it turned into self-blame. Okay? Blaming myself, like, what didn't I do? What didn't I say? What did I say? All this mind frick. Yeah, mind frick. Okay. So where do we allow that mind frick, that self that self yeah, there's another word that wants to come through here. Where do we blame others because we haven't taken responsibility ourselves? Where do we continue to blame others because we haven't taken the responsibility for ourselves? Where have we then taken on that blame and ridiculed ourselves so much that we haven't been able to move forth? Good questions, right? It's one of the things I was reminded of on Monday as Tim and I were driving back from Oklahoma, and we're going to these different nurseries because I wanted to. Okay, it's the Monday after Mother's Day. And Tim didn't tell me Happy Mother's Day on Sunday. Now, in the past, that would have hurt my feelings. I would have had all kinds of bad thoughts about him. But this is how we know that we've grown. This is one of the signs we've known that we've grown, is because Sunday came and I was telling myself, Happy Mother's Day. I was taking care of me. So then it does not matter as much. Okay, I'm just thinking. It didn't, I wouldn't say it doesn't matter. It didn't zing me. Okay, it didn't zing me when Tim did not say Happy Mother's Day. Because I, Tammy Lee, the sovereign being that I am and growing into, the sovereign being that I am and growing into, doesn't need that outside. Not saying always, okay? It's a process. I didn't need at that moment for Tim to say Happy Mother's Day. I noticed it, yes. Like, And then it just left. The thought left. There was no trigger. But I'll tell you what, there were triggers for years and years when that would happen. When I wasn't recognized or had recognition of, oh my gosh, you're such a great mom. Oh, thank you for doing such a great job with our children. Yeah, that used to trigger me. And this is one of the ways we know we've grown, women, is when we are no longer triggered by some of the same acts of the same people we live around, that we live with. Because here's something, they show up so many times, they show up different than what we desire them to show up as. Do you understand what I'm saying there? Sometimes we even expect our partner, our child, our grandchild, our sister, our aunt, whomever, a friend, to show up. We expect them to show up in a specific way. And when they don't, that's what triggers us. When they don't, that's when we get our feathers ruffled. So what if we allowed people to start showing up how they can in the moment? Because I will tell you, darlings, each and every one of you that are working on yourselves, not everybody is doing that. Each and every one of you that are working on yourselves, not everyone's doing that. So you hold a higher energy than most of those around you. you hold more advancement than those around you. So when you allow that space for others to show up as they can with what they have in the moment, you allow the other people to rise up into their gifts. You allow them to rise up into their gifts, into their magic. Do you understand what I'm saying here? So we let go of expectations. We actually look within us and see where we have these expectations. Now, yes, there's certain things that you can expect, like you expect general hygiene, right? Things like that. But how people show up for us, can we start to allow them to show up in the best way they can at the moment? That's the question, right? And then if for some reason we can't, we look at that. What's keeping me from that? What's keeping me from allowing them to show up the best way they can? Is there something within me? Is there something within me that's hurt or damaged or not feeling safe? That's where we start to do our inner work. That's where we start to do our inner work. Because I'll tell you, people really want to show up for you. But sometimes they just do not know how. People want to show up for you. But sometimes they just do not know how to. And here's another thing. How many times have people come to you, somebody, a friend maybe, wanting to show up for you, and then you like, oh, no, 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 no. I got it. I got it. But then in the next breath, you're asking for help. You're wondering why you have all this pressure and all this stress. And you have people saying, well, call me if you need help. Well, I'm here, just let me know. And then you don't do that. You don't reach out, or you dismiss them when they offer. Yes. So when we allow those barriers to drop away, when we allow ourselves to even look within to see where we're hung up on things, it opens up new communication, new availability for new feelings, new energy to come in. And you just never know what magic is waiting to visit you. So as I was saying, the masculine really wants to, people really want to support you. Maybe beyond your recollection, maybe beyond your knowing, maybe beyond a thought, like, who wants to support me? Sometimes we just have to ask the universe, okay, universe, bring me those that truly want to support me. Support me in my life. Support me in my work. Support me so I can flow, so I can expand, so I can be all I came here to be, do, have, and experience. Because I know some of you are feeling all alone. And that word support, like you think you're on your own. But where have you put up the barriers and the blocks for that help, that support not to come through? Whether it's physically, spiritually, etherically, mentally, emotionally. So my husband showed up in a different way on Monday. Wasn't with words, it was actions. It was with actions. He drove me to 2 different nurseries on Monday as we're coming home because he knows how much I want to beautify our place with even more plants. It's one of the things we're doing is we're preparing for the retreat we're having in July, and to beautify how we can in simple ways by going and getting different things to plant in planters and the different things we have around here. One of the trips we almost got stuck because it was sloppy because it just rained, and I was just like, come on girl, you can do it, come on Jubilee, because that's the name of my my new vehicle. She's a pearlescent Buick Enclave. So and in regards to that, in regards to that manifestation of her coming to us, I realized in the process where I was keeping barriers up, but didn't know it. Did not know it at the moment. In retrospect, I saw it like, wow. So yes, we all have those capabilities of doing that. No matter how much you continue to work on yourself, you're going to find deeper things that continue to come up. So again, I ask you, where are you putting your barriers up, your roadblocks up for those that want and desire to show up for you? Are they showing up in different ways that are maybe beyond your thinking, that are outside of your scope, but they're still showing up? Now that I propose this idea to you, it'll maybe open up yourself to different ways of seeing how people really are showing up for you, how other beings, how the universe is showing up for you. Yet, it's in a different way than what you expected. Maybe it's in a bigger way than what you even knew. One of the ways that I've seen this in my own life is, I've been hearing this to have a retreat here for years, and I finally said yes to that. But in the last year, what I've noticed is, like for instance, we ended up getting an infrared sauna big enough to hold 4 adults comfortably. Well, we got it at a very discounted price. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't looking for that. It just came. The opportunity came. The universe is supporting me in ways I was not seeing, in ways I didn't even know. But because I saw that, because all my barriers were, and I wasn't even thinking, oh, this is for the retreat. No, it's just like, oh, yes. That opportunity came up and I just immediately had a yes. Not knowing that months later, I would be having this on my heart and in my soul, and having different messages come to me, Tammy, and having Mama Earth talk to me about having a retreat right here on our farm, on the lands, and work with them in mystical, magical ways. There's so many different ideas that have been dropping in since that yes, since my yes. And then in retrospect, so do that. In retrospect, do you see how the universe has been conspiring on your behalf? Oh, yes, how the universe has been conspiring mystically and magically on your behalf. It's like, oh, that's why the sauna. Oh, that's why the side by side. Oh, that's why this person. Oh, that's why. Like, oh, yeah. You know, when you have this awe and wonder about yourself and allow that to just come alive within you, it can like open up your whole mindset, open up your spirit to a whole new way of seeing things and being with things. And it's just so fun. It's like we get reconnected to that child within us that believed in the magic, that believed in the magic, reconnecting with our awe and our wonder. Like, I wonder, and then just fill in the, I wonder what it would be like to, and just let your imagination start playing. Yes, let your imagination start playing. And then you can even say, I wonder, like, what would it feel like? And put in that person's name that you want to show up for you. Allow those feelings of, ooh, okay, so one of the things I've been working on is more connection with the fairies, more connection with leprechauns. I'm even reading a book, Summer with the Leprechaun. And so I wonder, see, and I'm feeling giddy right now. I wonder what it would be like to see the fairies that live here amongst us. So just that question right there, the fairies hear me say that. Like, oh, she really wants, she's like saying that to everybody that's listening. And I don't care if anybody thinks I'm weird. My husband's over in the kitchen and he's hearing me say this. He might even be saying, I don't know what she's talking about. But that's when we have to allow ourselves, no matter what anybody might think about us, and that we allow ourselves to ask those questions, to get out of self-judgment, to allow ourselves to think of those possibilities. I wonder what it would be like to see the fairies that live right here on our land. Yeah. I wonder what it would be like to have other women come and experience the fairies that live here on our land. For the dragons that are here with us. Yeah. For the Sasquatch that come and visit us. For the beings that come and join in with us. I wonder. Yes, we can ask questions that take us beyond right here where we at, like sitting in this chair, and allow our imagination to just grow and expand. And and see, can you feel that magic? Can you, just by asking that question, feel that magic, that energy of magic, just like, ooh, of mysticism, of glee, of wonder, as it grows and expands, and all these other beings that are around you, even the humans that want to show up for you. When we're in that welcoming energy of asking these questions of wonder that create maybe even an whoa. Like me and my grandkids, whoa, man, that was cool. So allowing other people, other beings, to show up for us in the way they best can. That's what we're talking about today. Because we're not always on point, are we? I'm not always on point. And sometimes I cannot show up 100%. So getting out of the expectation of thinking everybody else needs to show up in their 100%. That sure can create some ease and grace in the life of ourselves and of others. I remember when I was raising my kids. They're all now in their 30s. All my girls are in their 30s. Our son is 41 as of yesterday. And I remember, and I don't know how I even knew this, but I tell you what, I had some help raising my kiddos. I had help beyond this world because, man, I have 5 children, and each and every one of them turned out to be magnificent beings, magnificent humans. And I'm not over exaggerating that. People still, even my own mother, asks me how I did that. Even my own mother recently asked me, how did you create such a relationship with your children? How did you raise such incredible children, Tammy? Well, when I wasn't on point, I would tell them. And I think that's one of the things, is because I would just tell them, hey, mom's not doing so good today. I really need you guys to be on your best. So allowing yourself to be truth, with those people that you desire to show up for you. Allowing yourself to be truth for yourself. Allowing yourself, let's say this again, allowing yourself to be truth with you. That drops the pretense, that drops the thinking we have to be an actor in the play of life. Allowing your truth to be shown, to be seen. Because when we allow our truth to come forth, it literally helps others to drop their expectations of you. Because we may want certain people to show up certain ways for us. We might even see their capability of that. Yet they don't see it themselves. So poking and prodding isn't always the way to make shift happen. How many parents do that with their children? They want them to be a certain way. So many, oh, I want my son to go to college. I want my daughter to be a doctor. They have these expectations that they put upon their kids instead of allowing their truth, the truth of that child to come forth. That it may be they want to be an entrepreneur. Or I know a lady, all she wanted her whole life is to be a mom and to raise her children. That was her big dream. She used to tell me that when we worked together. Yeah, I used to work in a broadband company. I was one of the top sales executives there. Who would have thought that, right? But when we allow these expectations, when we allow our ways of thinking, how people need to show up, that people that want to support us, when we allow those to drop, we create space. We create space and we create this welcoming of energy for those beings, for those humans to show up in their best ability. And when we drop that from ourselves too, we quit being so hard on ourselves. We start to find more aspects of ourselves to love and to nurture and to nourish. And that creates more joyful living. That creates the ability to make shift happen on monumental levels. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So let me just take a pause right here and just welcome. Hi, Carol. Barriers down, barriers down. Great reminder. Hi, Michelle. So glad you ladies could join us today as we talk about these different things that are just coming through to speak about. Because I get caught up in this. I get caught up in this thinking my husband needs to show up this certain way. Or boy, she should know by now. And I don't get caught up in it as much as I used to. But yeah, he's got his own way of showing up. We did our love languages and it's like, oh yeah, okay, Tammy, you expect. Yeah, sometimes there's expectations and sometimes there's just, I really want it. And then I look at myself like, girl, how are you not taking care of yourself if you're expecting this person or that person to show up in a certain way? So, and sometimes it's about relieving ourselves of stress. Because when we relieve the stress off of ourselves, we relieve the stress we put on or expectations we put on others. You understand what I'm saying here? When we can release, when we can see where we are stressing ourselves out, then we can take the expectations of wanting other people to show up in certain ways off of them. One of the ways I did that is I hired a young lady to come in and help clean the house, which helped to relieve the different ways I was expecting my husband to show up for me. So, women, men, we really have beings. We have the masculine women. We have the masculine wanting to show up for us. It just may be in other ways than what we originally have always thought this lifetime. And there are times when thinking we had to do it all on our own. Getting upset because we've done it all on our own. Getting upset because we've done it all on our own. That we didn't allow the masculine, whether it's somebody you know that wants to show up, or whether or not it's somebody you need to call and say, hey, I need help. Hey, and maybe even somebody you have to hire. Yeah, maybe somebody you even need to have to hire to relieve the stress off of you, which relieves the expectation you might have on somebody else to show up. Because not everybody can show up the way we want them to. We can hold that vision, but it's also their choice. Even when we have explained it more than once of how we desire them to show up. It's time to take the stress off of yourself, ladies. Where can you hire somebody? Where can you drop an expectation? Where can you just see the truth of how somebody is showing up? So you can quit driving yourself nuts. I don't know, that just, yeah, tell them to quit driving themselves nuts. Yes, I do that to myself too at times. How can we support ourselves? That's really what comes down. How can we support ourselves first and foremost, and then allow others to start showing up to support us also? Where can you hire somebody? Where can you let go of an expectation? Where can you ask someone? Who can you call upon? So this can start to happen. So the space can start to be created within you and around you. And the ease and the grace can start to visit you. And the wonder and the awe starts to be a part of you. Yes. Barriers down. Thank you for joining today. Has this already expanded your mind a little bit? I can just feel this expansion happening. Let's just keep this conversation going on over in our Facebook group. Did I say that? Boy, that jumbled. Let's keep this conversation going over in our Facebook group. Ignite Your Joyful Heart. If you have any thoughts, any questions, if you don't feel comfortable putting them in the Facebook group, feel free to reach out to me personally, either by Facebook message or by email at hello@theemeraldcompass.com. Again, that's hello@theemeraldcompass.com. Feel free to message me there, Facebook message me, or post something in the Facebook group. I love you, I love you, I love you. So much, so much, so much of you and others want to show up in support of you. So much of you wants to show up in support of you. Yes. Thank you, darlings. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I love you, I love you, I love you. Cheers, everyone.